So all of you guys have heard about this common concept which everyone talks about is buy and hold forever. Now, what if I tell you there is a better approach to buy and hold forever? What if I tell you that I have backtested a framework that gives more returns in Nifty versus buying and holding? And towards the end of the video, I'm going to talk about all of these factors. And I'm also going to show you this Excel sheet towards the end of it, how I manage the portfolio, how I use this VBRS framework, and a lot more. So stay tuned. Now, the first thing that a lot of people keep telling me is that Shashank, Warren Buffett says that you should buy and hold forever. So why should we worry about a lot of things? But if I actually show you something, that Warren Buffett does not buy and hold forever. In fact, he does active management of his portfolio. Now, if you see this, right, all of his stocks that are currently there, Bank of America, he has recently sold 7.1% stake in this company. This is quite recent, right? If you look at all of this, Constellation Brands, he has added 113. He's sold a little bit of Davita. And if you keep looking at more and more of his portfolio, you will see that he's actually added some stocks and even deleted some stocks, right? In fact, even his famous Apple holdings was reduced when you look at his recent performance. So this is what I'm saying. So Warren Buffett does not only hold and sit forever, he also manages his portfolio quite actively. Now, leave Warren Buffett. If you think that Warren Buffett, is an exception, completely agree with that. But it is not just Warren Buffett, right? Because if you think about Warren Buffett, even during the COVID crash, he was very smart. He sold all airline stocks. Now, a buy and hold forever person would have held on to those airline stocks even at the dip, and maybe most of them would not have the guts to continue holding, right? Now, leave them. Let's look at what is happening in our Indian context. Now, if you look at our Indian context itself, you will see that as of April 2025, most of the mutual funds have increased their cash holding. And who are the people who have increased the cash holding? As you can see here, we have seen a massive increase. Obviously, Parag Parekh has one of the biggest cash holdings even today, and they have not invested even during the dip. 361 Mutual Fund also has 5.34% of their AUM in cash right now. Helios around 5%, Sundaram around 5.2, and Taurus at around 12.49. And where do you check this to cross reference? You can go to Money Control, you can quickly go to the portfolio and check here. As you can see, PPFAS has actually increased their portfolio of cash in May compared to April. As you can see here very clearly, their portfolio only has 76% equity, 10% in debt liquid instruments, and 13% in again liquid instruments. So almost 24% Parag Parekh is currently sitting in cash. Whereas if you look at Axis Bank, Axis Mutual Fund, they are sitting at approximately 10% cash over here, right? So all these mutual funds are now going into cash. But the real question is, Shashank, why are they trying to time the market so much? And why are they just not focusing on what all of us do, which is buy and hold forever? Now, think about this. Even when you invest in mutual fund, the mutual fund managers are not buying and holding forever. So that comes to the main question, Shashank, why are you buying and holding forever? And for this, we will actually come and look at a very interesting framework, right, called the VBRS framework. Now, what is the VBRS framework? VBRS framework is nothing but the valuation based reallocation strategy. Now, this strategy, I know it might sound scary, right, which is called the VBRS. Valuation based reallocation strategy is actually a quant strategy. Now, this is something that a lot of quant traders use in quantitative analysis, right? There is fundamental analysis, quantitative analysis, technical analysis. So a lot of these hedge fund guys in US use this strategy, which is called the VBRS strategy. Now, what is the VBRS strategy? It has multiple different steps, right? It is not that simple. Now, what does the step one tell you of VBRS framework? Step one of the VBRS framework tells you that your portfolio should be allocated in a certain way. Now, what is this allocation portfolio of this portfolio, right? It says that 50% of your allocation should be long term holding companies, right? This can be your large cap companies that does not change their valuation quite honestly, quite frequently, and they are something that have sustainable competitive advantage, and you can stay invested for a slightly longer period of time, but this is only 50%. This is what gives you the stability in the portfolio. Next, what it says, the VBRS framework says that you should have 30% of your allocation in something called as a tactical allocation, right? This is called tactical allocation. Tactical allocation means you are not worried about long term. Your only job is to actively manage 30% of your portfolio, which is either buying or selling at certain points or certain intervals. And don't worry, in this Excel sheet, I will show you everything on how to manage this portfolio very well also, right? Third, it basically talks about 15% should be held in contra or cyclical picks. Contra or cyclical. Now, why is contra or cyclical important? right? Contra is basically you are picking against the market. If everything is going up, let's say the whole pharma industry is going up, you are not picking pharma, you are picking an industry that has actually fallen down the most. For example, if I look at today's market, IT industry has fallen down the most, whereas all the other sectors have gone up a lot. So the contra thing would be to actually go and pick some IT companies, good ones obviously, or you talk about cyclical companies. What are some cyclical sectors doing well today? Let's say metal is a sector that is doing really well today. Oil and gas might be doing really well today. So have some of those cyclical sectors that are not focused on your larger PE goal, right? Whether Nifty is going up or not, we don't care, because these cyclical players who are already beaten down will take care of your portfolio. Right now, finally, we come to the last one, which is a cash position of 5%. Right, finally is a cash position of 5%. And if you look at the whole perspective over here, 50% is your long-term holdings, 30% is tact, right? 15% is contra, and 5% is cash. Now, how do you manage this portfolio? Now, it might seem very interesting to understand, but we need to understand a little bit deeper as to what do I do with this. Chalo, now I have made this portfolio, but now how do I change this portfolio? For this, we come to step 2. What is step 2? Step 2, we will have to go to screener over here, and the step 2 answer is something called PE based reallocation strategy. It's actually a model which basically talks about PE ratio of Nifty and how do we use this chart, to make decisions on our portfolio. Because let's understand something very clearly. When Nifty does get overvalued, the market falls. When Nifty is undervalued, the market starts going up. And if we correlate this with the price and P ratio, you will see exactly the same thing happening. That whenever the P ratio is overheated, Nifty goes down or goes into a consolidation zone, and it is ideally better to have cash in that situation, right? But what does the PE based reallocation model actually talk about? This looks at a 5-year or a 10-year average, but for today's example, I'm going to take a 10-year average horizon, right? Now, what P based reallocation strategy says is that your current portfolio has 30% of tactical allocation. You remember 30% was tactical allocation. Now it says look at the 10-year average of P, number one, 10-year average of Nifty P. After that, if you have individual stocks, okay, look at the 10-year average of those individual stocks. And third, if you have industry P, okay, industry P, look at the 10-year cycle of the industry P as well. So this is basically what is known as a P reallocation strategy, where we will look at 3 types of P. One is the stock P, industry P, and Nifty at a broad-based P as well. Because that is what we need to understand when we look at things, and then we have to decide whether a company is good or worth investing or not. So basically what it does is whenever your valuation goes slightly higher, right, we will talk about reducing the positions. And I will show you more examples on this, trying to understand a little bit more. Now, coming to the step 3, which is the cash ratio formula. Now, the cash ratio formula is very important. Please listen to this very carefully. So the cash ratio formula basically says, and let me write this down, how do we allocate cash? Okay. Cash ratio formula basically says 5% of our current cash that we currently have, Nifty's current P, okay, Nifty P, which is current P, okay, divide that with Nifty's 10-year average, okay, minus 1 into 30%. This is the entire formula, right? Obviously, I'll make it more easy with the Excel sheet. I've already coded all of this in the Excel sheet, and I will show you how that allocation strategy works. But what this basically says in very simple terms, that whenever Nifty is above the 10-year average, which is this line, okay, this is the line of 10-year average. Whenever Nifty is above the 10-year average, let's say somewhere around here, right, we will take this number, which is around 30, right? We will take this number, which is around 30, divided by the 10-year average, which is 23.5, right, divided by 23.5, okay, and then put this in this formula over here. It will automatically tell you how much cash position you should have depending on where Nifty is actually today. And this is very, very, very interesting to look at. So if you look at Nifty's 10-year position, it is 23.5. That is what it's telling me, right? But now, how do I plug all of this into an Excel sheet? And let's look at that immediately right now. So look at this Excel sheet. Now let us do a backtest model, because obviously without testing, what's the point of doing investing, right? There's no fun. So I'm going to take a time period of 2018 to 2024 for this experiment, right? I hope you guys can see it clearly. Yes, 2018 to 2024 is the experiment. Let's assume I start investing on Jan 2018. Let's say my investment amount is 10 lakh rupees. And according to the VBRS cash formula, as you can see, Nifty's 10-year median PE is 23.5. Where did I get this? I got it from here. I've just plugged it in here. Now that is 23.5. And if I look at Nifty's current P, let's say Nifty's current PE is around 22. If I come here today, you will see that my cash position automatically has to be around 3.09%. But let's take this example and do a little bit of back testing, because without back testing, there's no fun. So let's understand how do we do a back test. Now, let's understand how this would have actually worked out in the past by doing some backtesting data, right? Now, let's go back to Nifty 50 that we had in the previous sheet. Now, if you look at this, we go back to the P ratio and do the 10-year cycle, you will see where was Nifty highest. Nifty was highest around May or June. It was at 29.2 at this point, right? Whenever we see Nifty high, it is at this point, which was 29.2. And even after that, the P fell down, but came back to the same point, which is 29.2. So immediately over here, the trigger starts telling me that, Shashank, you need to start going into cash. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to plug this 29.2 over here, and you will see that it has told me to increase the cash position to 12%. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this cash and make it 12%. And I'm going to reduce this, which has gone up by 7%. I will reduce this by 7%. So now we come back to 10 lakhs, right? But now I have sold some profits from my tactical position, sold some profits from my counter allocation, and kept the core holdings the same. And if you see now, my cash holding has basically gone up by 1.2 lakhs. My cash position has gone up to 1.2 lakhs. Now that is very interesting, because now I'm just getting ready, right? I'm just getting ready for something that might happen. Now let's look at how this would have played out. Immediately after that, you see that the P ratio has gone from 28.29 during COVID to almost 18.7. Now, as soon as it goes down to 18.7, that triggers a massive buy signal for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into this formula and say 18.7. And this is going to tell me that, Shashank, you need to go completely into cash right now, because it is saying that we are in a very beautiful zone to deploy. Now, obviously, I'm not going to go minus 1.13%. We will go back to our 5%, which is going to be constant, right? We'll go back to our 5%. And here we will increase the allocation back to 30%. What is the advantage you've got? The advantage you've got is suddenly you are at cash position. Now the market has fallen, and you are going to sit in a very beautiful zone to start accumulating companies at much lower levels. Now this question comes, Shashank, how do you find these companies to buy, or what is the strategy and framework to buy good companies at this point? Sector and portfolio I understood, but now how do I find companies? For that, we will go back and use our PE based allocation method. We will do the same thing, but instead of doing it on Nifty 50, we will start doing it on individual stocks. Right now, if you want to look at companies that did really well at that point, let's not have any bias and just let's look at large cap companies, right? If you go and look at Reliance Industries, and please understand this is not buy or sell recommendation, I'm looking at past data, right? We go back to the 10-year average, put the P ratio filter here, and we will see that the long-term P ratio of Reliance is 22.6, and during COVID, it had fallen down to 14.4. It is a no-brainer. So till it went about 22.6, you have the allocation strategy to invest, right? The lower, the better. So what we're doing here is, again, we are looking at the 10-year average, right? And investing in companies that are below the 10-year average to give us a maximum alpha. Same thing if you look at big companies like HDFC Bank and you look at their price to book ratio compared to the 10-year price, you will see that even today it is sitting at a very, very low point. Even today it is sitting at a very low point. So this gives you an idea of what stocks to actually buy, and you can either look at large cap or your tactical positions or your existing positions as well. Completely all right. Okay. So that is how you use the VBRS framework. Now the question is, Shashank, how does this actually perform? How does this do? Right today, according to the VBRS framework, today it tells me that the Nifty PE is quite low and it is a buy market even today. Even though we have gone up quite a bit, it still tells me that you can keep the cash position slightly higher. But while doing this 2018 to 2024, according to the backtest data, you see that this systematic approach would have resulted in a portfolio value of approximately 27 lakh by December 2023 compared to 22.7 lakh for a simple buy and hold strategy. By tracking the Nifty, basically a 20% outperformance would have been delivered if you had just played out in this strategy. Are we saying that go fully into cash? Answer is no. Even if Nifty goes above, let's say 30p, which is very high, it might not go to 30p. But even if I say 30p, the max cash holding you're hitting is 13.3. Max. That means you're still 87% invested. And you see, mutual funds are more aggressive. They have gone into 27%, 25% cash. But this is a very good framework for you to start removing some profits at the top and keeping cash position ready for it to go bottom, and then reallocating that money into very good zones. I know a lot of people might get very confused when it comes to investing in the market. And a lot of people try to time the market as well. But what I'm trying to tell you is, don't try to sit and say that I'm going to stay invested for 10 years, 20 years and forget about everything. When the whole world is not doing that, why are you sitting and doing it, right? Your mutual funds are not doing it. Michael Burry is not doing it. In fact, Michael Burry is just sitting on complete short position. So you doing that is completely wrong. But I'm not saying go and sell all your holdings and sit down, right, like a pigeon. Don't do that. The framework, quantitative methods that are being used by hedge funds abroad, is something that I'm trying to learn and get it to you, because in the process of becoming a better investor, I am also now focusing a lot on portfolio allocation, because that is the secret recipe that people need to cook. So I hope you guys enjoyed this VBRS framework. What I'm going to do is, that VBRS Excel sheet that I have, I'm going to give it in the comment section for you guys for free to learn and understand a little bit more, so that when you can go and plug in your own sections over there, you can automatically adjust the P ratio, and it will tell you whether you should be in cash or whether you should be over deployed. And I'm sure there is no harm in going in cash. There's absolutely no harm, because we will take returns over a long period of time versus greed in a short period of time. Now, I know this is not the typical video. It is slightly different from what we always do. There's no stocks and all in this video, but I'm trying to make you guys an overall investor. Try to learn much more about stocks, understand everything that there is about investing. And I hope these small free sessions will give you a lot of knowledge. And that is my only goal in life, right? This is me, Shashank Udupa, signing off. And if you like this, please share this with your smart friends as well, who want to understand what the VBRS framework is. Tata, take care. See you. Bye bye.